Hello everyone, Kalvin Sheik here. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing an oil painting, namely a seascape. My recommendation, I know this is a huge canvas. If you're a first-time oil painter, you probably want to get a quarter of this canvas, just because it's your first time, and you're probably going to need some practice, and can be quite expensive, so it's not cost effective to get a big canvas and then mess it up and start with a smaller one. Having said that, but unless you want to start with a big canvas, and that's totally your choice, but the reason why I chose this one is because I'd like to have some more detail. Some things that you need to know about oil painting. You need a solvent. This is the stuff that you dip your brushes in, so that you get the oil paints out of the brushes, so that you can use them again. You need a linseed oil. What that does is it kind of turns the paint into more of a liquid mixture, and it kind of helps you to blend in the colors. Now, if you want, you can use something called a gesso, and this is good for both acrylics and oil paintings. The acrylic, it's kind of like a primer. You put it on the canvas. Some people don't like the texture of the canvas, so they'll add a few coats on. It's just like any other painting primer, and what that does is it makes it a more smoother surface. And so you can paint on top of it. I really don't use the gesso. Occasionally I will. It depends on the mood, really. So today we're going to be painting a seascape, and we're going to start first with the skies. Now, the thing you need to know about painting skies is you got to start blue up top and gradually move down until, using white, until it's kind of like faded. Now, you can have the sky end here, but I'm going to have it end more halfway through the canvas. You can also have it end here, and I've seen the full canvas being used as a sky, and you can have like different views and however you want it, really. So we're going to start off with a 2-inch brush. These are pretty good brushes, especially if you have a large canvas. You're going to need a big brush, because if you paint with like this size, you're going to be painting forever, right, to cover the surface, or the surface. You can also use these ones here, but I'm going to use this for pretty much like trees and houses and whatnot. So here is the thing that I hold the paint. I have here titanium white, crimson blue. Sorry, that's not crimson blue. That's phthalo blue. And I have what is this? Cerulean blue hue. I also have a turquoise blue and some black, just to kind of do the shading. But we're going to start with the cerulean blue hue, and the turquoise blue, I'm going to use more for the waves. So but before I start with these, I'm going to add some linseed oil, and the more oil you add, I don't know, it just adds more to the texture of the painting, and it helps you to kind of blend the paints in, and it just softens. It's kind of like a paint thinner. Okay, so I'm just going to mix the paint here. You can see the linseed oil is kind of falling off my painting pad here. Now, just a couple of things that I'd like to mention before we start. If you're starting your paints, just something you got to know is you don't really want to compromise the quality of the paints. These paints, there's Van Gogh. They start I think at $6 or $8 at the art stores, and I go to Wallach's or Desserts. The reason why you don't want to use a cheaper kind of paint, because you could find some at Walmart or the dollar store even, it won't really give you that quality that you're looking for and the effect that you're looking for in the painting. And just the paint in itself, it just doesn't carry well when you're actually doing the painting. Okay? So what you can see here is that I've dipped my brush on both sides, and I've got probably 1/10 of the brush dipped in paint. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do X's, okay? Just like that, okay? Now I should move this up more. Actually, just 1 second here. Just because I need to paint that part too, I'll put it back once I'm done with this guy. But this is kind of to hold the canvas on my stand here. And you really don't have to get a stand. There are some smaller stands, or if you can just put it on hook it up to a wall, or you can put it on a desk. It's the same thing. Just the stand is more convenient. Okay, so if you can see here, I am doing these X's, kind of waves, so to speak. I don't want to paint my lamp here. So basically painting, you got to make sure you're pretty much putting your feelings on paper. You're releasing your emotions. It's a form of expression. It's kind of like language, but with the paint, what you're doing is you're expressing yourself with colors, different textures, different tones. Okay, and it's a great way, it's a great stress reliever, and I always say that painting and art holds politics hostage, although politics can also be expressed through art. Painting, it kind of unifies people in healthy discourses, and everyone loves painting. It doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. You know, everyone has something to say about a particular painting, particular piece. And for me, growing up, I used to watch Bob Ross. He was, may God rest his soul. It's sad that he had to go early. But he was a pretty famous painter, and I used to have his programs on television, and I used to love his techniques, and we used to sit there as children watching him. So that's where I get my kind of inspiration. I also like European artists, you know, during the Renaissance. And I love European art. There's also some North American art that's really nice. And really, all cultures have some form of art. You know, you look at the frescoes that they have in churches. That's a form of art. It's more a spiritual kind of an art, but art in itself is a spiritual mechanism. It's, you know, it really, it's a lens for the individual to kind of express themselves, but so if you can see here, I have pretty much the top canvas here filled with a cerulean blue hue. Okay, I want to make sure that it's covered. Okay. I know I'm covering this with my back turned to the camera, but it's kind of hard to paint while you're facing the camera, so please excuse me for that inconvenience. I don't have the luxury of having a camera crew videotape, you know, the paints. It would be nice.